Welcome to day 39. We are going to do something a little funky today, going about things a little bit differently. We are going to take 2-minute sets of work. Some things we're going to hold, some things we have little movements through. Some will be an entire 2 minutes, and then others will do 1 minute each side. You don't need any equipment. In fact, if you wanted to go barefoot, you could. This would be a great day to hit up a barefoot set, kind of check in with your stance, your feet, where everything's hanging out, and where maybe some adjustments can be made. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to have you start with your solid stance, toes right in front of you, knees lined with toes. Make sure the knees are not hyperextended and locked out, but just hanging out there. Hips right over those feet. Inhale. Bring your arms up nice and high, and then exhale, dive over those legs. Inhale, bring those arms up. Grab your right hand, pull to the left. Inhale, center. Grab your left hand, pull to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, dive over those legs again. Slide the shoulder blades down. Oh, something that would be helpful to have is a wall. We're going to be hitting a wall sit at one point. So if you have a wall, that would be fantastic to grab. Inhale, grab. Just bring your wall in right now. If you don't have it, carry it over. Elbows open, go into a goalpost. Inhale, and let your back arch backwards. Just a little back bend, and then come back up. All right, grab your hands behind your back. Open the chest. Yourself a little bit of movement there. And then bring your arms in front. Get a little bit of flexion through the chest. Open through that upper back. Tuck your tailbone under. Rotate your head side to side. All right. Another thing that we are going to try to have some time to do is a little bit deeper stretch at the end. So today we are taking it more mellow, low intensity, super healthy and beneficial. I actually have to remind myself to get into these days, to bring them on in, to incorporate them, to make sure that they're happening. So we are going to start off with a bird dog. So we're going to hit 1 minute on one side and 1 minute on the other. And let's go ahead and get that going. So ready, set, and go. Put your shoulders right over the wrists, knees right underneath your hips. Ground in through left hand, right leg, flex deep. Inhale, extend, exhale, tuck in. So we're here for quite a while, which is really good because it doesn't allow us to just try to rush through the work. So we can just move on to that next set. Gives us time to focus on the move, focus on the body, set into what's going on. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tuck. You need to create the flexion, create the tension, create the resistance. As much work going on in those supporting arm and leg as is the moving arm and leg. 3 seconds to extend one more time, and then plant. Other side. So go with your breath. You may be inhaling and exhaling a little bit faster or slower than me. Inhale into that extension. Exhale in that tuck. Big spread out fingers. Check into the work. We don't even have to count today, which is fantastic. We can really just focus on what's going on. Big, big extension. Pull that low belly in tight. Try your best to keep the hips level. No, it's not even something I always do. And even though today is a little more low intensity, you should be building quite a lot of heat. And time. All right, warm it up for sure. Rotate those ankles out, ankles, wrists. We're going to a down dog plank. If you do not do one or the other, Our timer's getting ready to go, so I'll just go ahead and run us through here. Press into those hands. Slide the hips up and back. We're moving with our breath again. So exhale, come forward into your plank position. Tuck, hold tight. Inhale back. Slide through those thumbs, first fingers. Exhale, come forward. So if you don't do a down dog or a plank, you hinge back, hit your child's pose, flex into those glutes. See if you can come forward into an up dog. All right, keep that going. Scan the body here, work with the breath. Feel like the flexion and grab of your core, the abdominals, are what's pulling you back and pushing you forward. Tuck the tailbone, flex the glutes. You should feel a nice big stretch through the back. When you're in the back of the move, tuck and flex forward to come through. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Building flexion. Think about hugging muscles to the bone. Stay nice and tight and strong. 30 seconds left. Check in with that low back as you hinge back. So sometimes I can kind of let my butt really push and I lose my core. So find that press of the heels down to the ground. Belly holds strong. Really focus on pushing and pulling with that core. 7 seconds. Elbows squeeze in so the triceps engage. And time. All right, we get to flip over onto our backs. Actually, we're going to start seated. I'm going to do a Pilates roll up. We're going to focus on the roll down though first. Toes come up straight. Hinge over the legs. No big deal if you can't reach your toes. Focus on that core contraction. Squeeze the core, tuck your chin, and then you're rolling back to the point of no return. So if this is the point that you get to, and then you need to come back over those toes, and that's it. You may be able to slide all the way down. I don't know if you heard my little shake there. And then come all the way back up. So our goal is to not swing the arms with the movement. But if you need a little bit of help, then that's okay. So here you do have that low back arch when you're straight out flat on the ground. As you curl up, push that low back into the ground. Feel that belly engage. And then get all the way up. Oof. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. And there is something funky about this one. You will start kind of inching your way backwards. So if you need to adjust, that's fine. As you're reaching forward over those legs, keep the flexion around the core. So my kind of mental image is that I have a band, a big thick sash or band that's pulling around my stomach, but those are just those core muscles. There's no band, it's just my core. Reach, extend, tuck that chin, round up nice and slow. Contract deep. Flex, flex, flex. Slow and controlled. Forces that core to be on contraction just a little longer. And time. Okay, we're going to go into a glute bridge. Set your heels so they're going to be right underneath the knees. Sometimes it works if your body proportions work out well. You can kind of barely touch your heels with your fingers. Make sure that your shoulders, hips, knees, heels are all in a line, right? Go ahead, drive your hips up, push into the heels, and then pull the heels back towards your shoulders. So you should be feeling quite a lot of glute flexion here and hamstring grab. So you're going to be tucking that tailbone under, Feel your hip flexors open and the butt super strong. Start with your hands down on the ground, and then you're going to inhale, bring them up overhead, and then slide those arms around on the ground. So getting some rotation into those shoulder joints. Also notice how the rotation, mobility, and ranges of motion are working through your clavicle, so your collarbone, and your scapula, shoulder blades. Push into those heels. Keep those hips up. Flex through those glutes and thighs, hamstrings. Core hold steady and strong. Okay, now we're just going to go up and down. So inhale. Bring those arms back behind you. Up and down with the arms, that is, not your legs. And then exhale. Arms come back down. So again, work with your breath. So healthy to have some days where we just have a prolonged session of deep inhales, deep exhales. We're not necessarily getting your heart rate super high. You're noticing the body where maybe there's little impingements, limitations, seeing if you can make adjustments to work through. Okay, once your arms are up overhead this time, oh, there's our timer. Lower the hips, tuck those knees into the chest, take a little shake out, maybe roll your legs side to side. Okay, we're flipping back over onto our hands and knees, at least to start. And we're going to do more arm rotations. So similar to our bird dog, you're going to start with your right arm forward, and you're going to do an arm wipe. Okay, bringing your arm really far forward and then back. If it works for you, you can try hitting up a high plank, keeping that shoulder up over the wrist, and then wiping that arm forward and back. You can also try one knee down and one leg lifted. So if your arm on the right is moving back and forth, then you would keep the knee on the right down. You kind of decide what works for you. Find that core. Flex deep. Again, trying to work with your breath. And like I said, lower intensity, but we're still building the heat. Okay, switch to the other side. Now your left arm is moving forward and back. Try your best to keep those hips level. I can feel mine twisting a bit. That's okay. As long as you're aware of it and you're kind of trying to correct it. Lots going on here. Enjoy the work. Enjoy the burn. Work that arm rotation. We've got it. 15 seconds to go. Keep evenly pressed into that hand on the ground. Push into the thumb and first finger. And time. Whew, hinge back. Give those arms a little stretch. Wrists a little break. Okay, we're going to move into a side plank, a supported side plank with a hip thrust. So plant your hand and open the knee away from you. So your knee is going to be on the ground, and then your other knee is stacking against it. Let your hips shift back, and then punch those hips forward. Shift back and drive. Back, punch forward. That's it. Punch. So this is slowly getting into muscles up in your glute medius, which is the higher outer portion of your glute but we're working that glute med on the left side. 20 seconds left. Should be feeling your oblique, your core, and that glute med. You got it. I'm definitely warm. Building that temperature. Okay, switch to the other side. Drive those hips forward. Stack that shoulder right on top of the palm. Hinge the hips back. Thrust forward. Drop and drive. Hinge the hips and drive. If this doesn't work for your wrist or maybe your shoulder, I would suggest just dropping back into a glute bridge. And then once you have your bridge, let your hips kind of twist toward the ground. One glute will drop and then the other. But try to flex into that bicep, tricep back, and then drive those hips up and forward. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so next up, we are going to do a forearm plank. 2 minutes. Real quick, I'm going to show you. If you don't do a plank, you can do an iso bug hold. So I want you to push hands into knees, knees into hands. Drive that low back into the ground and scoop the belly. So here we are in our forearm plank. 2 minutes. Flex around those glutes, wrap through the thighs, pull that low belly in nice and tight. So I recently had a client send me an article that said, I have to be honest, I actually didn't read it, but the subject line was that holding any more than a 1 minute plank is unnecessary / ineffective. So I definitely have my opinions about holding super long planks. I think that it's really difficult to hold the maximum amount of flexion for that extended period of time. However, I actually don't like it, but I think that it's healthy and beneficial to hold a 2 minute plank sometimes, as we do occasionally, because I think it's really good for your mind. It's tough. You want to drop, start shaking, but I find that it's doable, and it helps increase the brain, the power of the brain, what you know you can do mentally. So we only have 20 seconds left. Flex that belly under, tuck the tailbone. Settle the mind. Decide you're going to make it happen. 5 seconds. And time. Whew. Well done. And it doesn't hurt to hold for those 2 minutes. Okay, next up, we're going to use that wall that I hope you brought. We have a 2 minute wall sit. So take a seat. Make sure your knees are lined up with your heels right on top of the heels. And then check in that your thighs are making railroad tracks as opposed to flying wide. Squeeze the knees toward one another. Drive that low back toward the wall. Belly strong. Deep breath. I think I'm going to need that mental power here for this one again. Deep breath. As you fatigue, think to yourself, can I take one more breath? Can I get one more inhale and exhale? Try to make them nice and deep. Keep the flexion in your core and wrapping around those thighs. We just passed halfway. Getting into those isometric holds. They shouldn't be easy. Sit into the burn. Relax in the mind. Just under 20 seconds. My legs are on fire, but I want it. I want it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, good work. Good work. Good work. Okay, we are going to do a leg kick. Back onto those hands and knees. We have 2 exercises left. Oops. 2 exercises left, and then we're going to take some extra time for stretch. All right, so hands and knees. Extend your right leg long, level the hips. So once you get your leg down, drop your hip, flex into that core, hamstring and glute, and then lift. Not super fast. Scan the body. Drive shoulder blades down. Wrap through that torso. Drag your belly button up towards your spine. Level off the hips. You should feel this pretty good in that hamstring and glute after just completing that fantastic wall sit. Elbows pull back toward those thighs. Reach the chest forward. Drag that belly in tight. Your foundation's important. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Level off those hips. Practice your hand placement here. What you're doing with those wrists, the knuckles. So really push into those thumbs and first fingers. And try to create a little arch, right? Just like your bare foot, your foot has that arch. When you suction cup and kind of push into the knuckles on the hand, you end up creating an arch in your hand. And that's going to help take some of the pressure off of the outer wrist and get you that wide base of support that we need. You got it, you got it. Belly stays strong. Keep scanning the body. Notice what's going on. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, our last exercise. 2 minutes. We're going to do a leg hold up into the air. You're welcome to use a wall, putting your butt against the wall and setting both feet against the wall. So flex your legs. Hopefully you can get your legs about straight up. If not, do use that wall or grab a strap. Okay? I'm actually going to restart our timer because I'm explaining this one a while. Okay, so you can use a strap to kind of help support and hold those legs. We want to get the blood flow going the other direction. So we stand a lot during the day, we sit a lot during the day. We want to push those legs into the other direction. Otherwise, you can join me and hit a shoulder stand. Ready, set, and go. So if you want to do shoulder stand, if you've done yoga, you know what's coming, core strong. You're going to tuck knees in and kick the legs. So that's totally fine to start with your legs overhead. Push elbows into the ground, tuck the chin, and make sure you're creating space for your neck, right? So tuck that chin. Now, you're using the core and those shoulders and triceps, those elbows pushing into the ground, the arms to support this hold. Grab the core. Always, right? Always that silly core. Holding strong here. Even if you're doing the strap variation, hold that core. Stay here if this is where you like it. So your thighs are still flexed, okay? You're not relaxing those legs. You're flexing in deep. And then if you feel comfortable, drop your right knee down toward your face and then push it back up. Flex. Drop your left knee down toward your face. Core strong, legs strong. Press it up. One more each side. If you're feeling your neck, you need to lower down or push more into those elbows. Good. Now then, hold that left leg strong and maybe try reaching a straight leg back. Oh, running into things. There we go. And then push it back up. Hold strong, steady. This is a lot of core work here, a lot of foundation. There's our timer, but we'll bring that left toe back up. Okay, now to get out of it, tuck both knees in towards your face and then slowly release those hips. Whew, all right, we made it through. Good job, you guys. Funky day. Something totally different than we normally do. As I've talked about in our other, set your feet wide, we'll windshield wiper the legs. As I've talked about in our other kind of low intensity days, it's super healthy and good. And many of you have commented back and said that you feel like you're more prepared and ready to push hard after we've had kind of a recovery day. So I hope that you found that to be a productive part and a regular part of your workouts. Extend your left leg long. Like I said, we're going to take a little longer to stretch today, or a little more focused stretch. Stretch that left leg long. Tuck your right knee into the chest, nice and deep, and then rotate it over the body. Push that right knee toward the ground. Open the right arm out away from you. Come back to center. Pull the left knee in. And then rotate it to the right. Left arm out on the ground. Push that left shoulder into the ground and kind of drive that right knee down. Come back to center. Okay, grab your strap, towel, t-shirt, whatever it is. Loop it around your foot. Depending on how flexible you are or aren't, then to get a straight leg, you might end up with your leg way out in front of you. But if you have it and you're not causing a bunch of pain or freak out in the muscles, slowly pull that leg back towards you. And the strap helps by just making sure you're not holding tension in the rest of the body. Helps get that leg fully extended. If maybe your toes, or I'm sorry, your hands can't reach your toes or calf very well, hold the toe down toward your shin. Drop that left outer hip onto the ground. Okay, and then let's take your straps, put them into the right hand. Your right leg's going to drop onto the ground, and then slowly drop that left foot over to the right. Just as far as you can. You should feel that stretch through the back side, the hamstring again, and then that glute. Take a couple more deep breaths. And then come back to center, and we're going to switch it up. Put your strap around your right foot. Straighten through that leg as much as you can, keeping that right hip pushed into the ground. And then extend your left leg long onto the ground and let your right leg drop over that thigh. Push through the back of the leg, open through the chest. And then bring your leg back to center. We'll get rid of the strap, come up into a seated position. Left leg is long, tuck your right leg in, and then just reach over that extended left leg. And then switch to the other side. As always, please continue to send feedback. It helps me know how to help you, get you where you're going. Keep up the good work. Try not to make excuses. We all have excuses. We all have reasons not to show up. We all have reasons that we can't eat the way that we know we're supposed to, or get our water, or find time to work out. Stretch over those legs. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. And you have to make it a priority. And sometimes you may have to be a little mean to other people to make it happen. Grab your hands behind the back, open that chest one more time. Great work. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed those 2-minute sets, and I'll see you tomorrow. We've got some fun Tabatas coming.